why AY is
I
complaining.
don't know. I don't know.
But that's the truth now. That's the truth.
Not for AY.
Well, I was just joking. Everybody is happy. We're happy with what is going on in the
No, we're not
country.
happy.
Thank you.
All right, stand by.
All phone silences.
Yes,
That's true.
yes.
Okay, yeah. Your phone's on silence.
Did that already.
Yeah, no, it's on silence.
Cameras, are you happy with here?
But I like your legs, Sha.
I'm looking for a school. Like I want to spy your answer.
I don't
There's
see how.
nothing to spy here.
Nah, it looks good though. I'm proud.
Proud daddy.
Sure.
Progress, you made it in.
Progress with the shade.
This is your end
taking
point,
off
your
pictures
start
and-
point.
Now your
And
now
your
your
end
shade.
point.
Noted.
I don't want you to see my eyes.
Now, is it red?
Please let us know when we can start. This is my chair.
Thank you.
Let me just put my two.
That's the general question.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'll count you down at 10.
Okay.
Then the commercials after that.
I can start. All right. Okay.
Very sure the light on me
I'm
is like
very
so bright.
cold, oh, guys. Good afternoon and welcome to the OMD Red Room. First of its kind, here we have very interesting, insightful, thought-provoking conversations. My name is Ngozi Uwafili and I am a media strategist at OMD. Today I have with me very distinguished guests and we would be discussing the shift. We would be talking about culture and content and seeing how they influence consumer perception and how they influence brand. I would be introducing my guests. I have with me Wale Sanusi, who is the CEO of Light Inc. With me also is Joshua Igbasan, who is a business lead at OMD. Also with me is none other but AY, the very, very, very big comedian in the entertainment industry, who is also a movie writer and a distinguished actor. Welcome on board, guys. I'm so pleased to have you. It's my pleasure to have you with me today.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
It's so good to be here.
Right. So earlier I spoke about our topic, which is talking about culture and content and understanding how culture and content basically affects consumer perception and how it also impacts brands in general. So when we talk about culture, a lot of people think tradition. A lot of people think, the very, very traditional aspect. But there is something called pop culture, which a lot of brands are in tune with in our present time. So I would like to know how you've seen brands in recent time take up pop culture to affect or influence the perception of consumers.
Okay. If I may go right, I think
Yeah.
so when we say pop culture, right, I mean it's popular culture.
Yeah.
Talking about music, fashion, entertainment generally, arts, even tech. And these things have been there, right? Brands have always leveraged pop culture to drive competitiveness for themselves. But what we've seen in recent time is that, the scope with which they do that, right, is becoming bigger and more interesting. They are being more creative with it. So for example, if you look at the alcoholic category, right, there's a restriction to advertising where you cannot advertise before a certain time, right?
Yeah,
But what we've seen some alcoholic brands do is to integrate their brands into movies, into drama series, leveraging platforms like Netflix, African Magic and whatnot, just to be able to drive some level of exposure for the brands. So it's interesting. Before now there was no Netflix, there was no Prime, right? But now those platforms are there. So the scope, the creativity, the innovativeness behind it is becoming more interesting. So I think it's a good time for brands to leverage pop culture to drive competitiveness for themselves.
So thank you, Joshua. For me, I would say pop culture is a way brands drive deeper connection with their core TGs, right? And I feel like the major ways, or well, I say the major avenue, say pop culture has been affecting us is through music, right? And looking at maybe some few examples is this Puma and Davido collaboration, right? It is quite big and it's made their brand go viral, right? And it pretty much resonated among their TG, right? So we feel like pop culture is actually the next thing, right? And it has been and it will always be here. So yeah.
Okay, what else can I say? He has talked about deeper connection. That connection is needed. And as a matter of fact, it's a way of defining brand loyalty. Brand loyalty is when the connection is there and when you associate it with a brand in the capacity of an influencer or somebody who can come up with all this content is usually very, very good in the sense that it gets you involved with the community and is a measure of the community of the influencer himself and the community of the brand that is being represented. And from the consumer endpoint is just a measure that creates that gets their attention. And pop culture is something that has come to stay.
Thank you very much. AY has spoken about influencer and how, a lot of our young target audience are in tune with influencer lifestyle. For me, I think that is also a pop culture. The fact that a lot of young people like to copy influencers. They like to do what they do. They have these guys as people they love, they look up to. I think that should also be something we should categorize as a pop culture. So I'm talking about influencer engagement and content creation as well as culture. Wale, I would like to know, how are these crucial in building a brand?
Very good question. So if you ask that question, I would say it's more like asking how is water important when it comes to digestion,
Okay.
right? First of all, when you say culture, right?
Yeah.
For a brand to penetrate deeper into the hearts of their target audience, they need to consider their culture, their background, their beliefs, their value system, right? For example, then let's bring it back to Nigeria. In Nigeria, we love respect. We have diverse cultural demographics. We have diverse languages. And we know what resonates with people on that level. Imagine you should bring like an Indian person to come and advertise in the Nigerian landscape. Basically, at the agency, we've seen so many situations where we have global brands, but when they get to Nigeria, they tend to cascade their communication down to be able to resonate with the Nigerian target audience, right? And when you talk about influencer engagement, right? Influencer engagement definitely is very important, right? But before that, let me go to content. Content. They say content is king. And yesterday, I heard one of the sessions, they say content is king, but nobody has ever been crowned, right? I love that. Content is king. Content brings about engagement when it comes to brand, especially digitally, right? Also, content exhumes education, right? You're launching a brand or you're doing anything in the digital space and you're not doing content, then that means whatever you're putting out there is useless. And when you now say content, it boils down to the use of influencer. Thank God Mr. Ayo is with us today.
Yeah.
So imagine Mr. Ayo, he has various diverse followers, right, online. engaging someone like Mr. Ayo would actually give the brand mileage when it comes to connection to their core teaching, right? So in essence, what am I saying? You leverage on people's followership. You leverage on the influencer followership, right? And apart from that, it brings about believability, right? Whatever any influencer is doing for a brand, the target audience tend to believe that whatever this person is doing and is passing out the message, right? They want to believe that it's good. And at the end of the day, it drives, how will I put it, proper engagement, and it gives brands mileage.
Interesting. So being that Ewa, you are an influencer, you are very experienced in influencing for brands. How would you say brands can effectively select and collaborate with influencers?
It's just a matter of identifying the brand itself, its level of following, the kind of following that the brand has is very, very key. Uh, it's one thing to say that you want to use an influencer. It's another thing to understand the target audience of that influencer in line with what you intend to project. You know, they are some influencers or celebrity influencers that you can just attest their brand and connect them with family. So your ability to understand that, okay, I wouldn't need uh, brand to push an alcoholic brand, or if something has to do with family, that brand identification is very, very important. I'll give you a very practical example. There was a time Dubai Tourism wrote me a letter and saying that they would like for me to come and be one of their influencers and get people attracted to their destination, traveling to Dubai. I didn't quite understand the reason why they would come for me, but I later realized that it has to do with not just uh, the following that I have. On the social media space, I have like over 25 million followers across board from Instagram, Facebook, and the rest. So beyond the number, they also understand that I maintain a sort of family connection, and they want families to see Dubai as a destination. And the only way they would do that is to bring in an influencer who is going to come there with his family, and then people will connect with him, and families will begin to see Dubai as a destination. I didn't quite understand it until South African tourism did the same thing, and of course, I did one with China and what have you. So now I have come to understand that these things work, but what is important is for you to identify the grand standing of your influencer and how it can affect your target audience positively.
Interesting. Thank you very much. So what I've got from everything AY has said is that the mission of the brand has to sort of align with the lifestyle of the influencer, or the unique selling proposition of the influencer. So if you're looking to get an influencer to push a food brand, you should look towards getting an influencer who ordinarily is a foodie and communicates that across social media. I would like to know, Joshua, you have a vast experience in the media space and you have done a lot with brands and content. So can you share some success stories of brands that have nailed cultural relevance in Nigeria? And, just tell us what we can learn from them and apply to our own marketing strategies.
Thanks. So for me, I think recently we've seen brands actually leveraging content more than ever before, leveraging influencers or even being culturally relevant. So one of such brands is Johnny Walker. So I remember earlier in the year, and I work on the brand, right? Johnny Walker had no TV assets, TV commercial to run, right? And they needed that level of visibility on TV, especially when you are familiar with the category wherein they play, which is the premium spirit category. TV plays a major role in terms of visibility for brands in that category.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do we have that visibility on TV when we do not have a TV material? So what they did was to partner with Trace. Now, Trace is an urban entertainment platform, and it's also very, very culturally relevant. So they came up with this fantastic idea called Keep Working with Trace. Now, as the name implies, Keep Working is the mantra for Johnny Walker, while Trace is the platform with the content, right? So what they did was to also leverage influencers. Shoddy, I think Shoddy, they call him the Turn Up King, and Rossman, right? And they came up with a music review show where they look at the hit music at the time, the hit songs and the influencers at the time. And they drove conversations around it. So when they're talking about the music, when they're talking about the influencer, they bring in the brand element, right? So at the end of the day, it was a successful execution, right? So if you look at it from a culture standpoint, they leverage a culturally relevant platform, which is Trace. From a content standpoint, they came up with, a content that is music related, which is more like the number one passion point for their target audience. And from an influencer standpoint, they leverage two major influencers. And at the end of the day, it was a success. Even from a business standpoint, it drove positive business output in terms of salience, in terms of product uptake. So for me, I think that's a classical example of a brand that effectively leverages those three platforms, those three parameters to push competitiveness for the brands in the category.
Thank you very much. Personally, I think one of the big brands that have also used culture and content symbiotically would be Knorr. Food is a big culture in Nigeria, and they latched on the food culture with the Knorr Knorr Taste Quest, where they use food. They got a lot of influencers on board. They cook, and they use that food culture to connect, to create a content actually, and connect with the Nigerian audience. All right. Back to you, AY, as the person that has the first-hand experience as an influencer, right? I would like to know, what is the secret to building a successful relationship with an influencer as a brand this time? So if a brand wants to maintain that long-term relationship,
brands usually, when they come, they have their set goals.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want brands to also understand is that for you to select an influencer, that influencer has a style, a pattern that is working for the influencer. So it's good for you to, have your brand message or what you want to pass. Now, you must, before you find yourself aligning with that brand, you must understand that the brand has something that is working for the brand. That's why the followers are coming.
Yeah.
So if you seek for the opportunity to align with what this person has, is going to be a plus. Now, I'll give you a practical example. I've had people come to me and say, okay, we want you to influence our product. They'll do all the round table discussion. They'll give you the script. And then when you do it the way they want it done, the engagement sometimes is not as effective as it should be. But because when I find myself doing something for brands, I am result oriented. If I see that it's not working, I'm going to do it again my way and infuse that same message that you want to pass into it and then put it out there. And then you see the difference. And so when you see the difference, so what's the message now to brands? We respect your expertise. I mean, it can serve as a guide, but sometimes it's good to just believe in that influencer to understand. All you need to do is guide the influencer so that your brand will be represented, effectively well. But sometimes that free hand is very important. And you will agree with me now that some of the concepts and ideas that some of these brands come up with, not like they are not good, they are trained to guide us. But if you find out as we speak, the way it used to be, I mean, when you have your normal 60 seconds jingle, you just throw it out there, go and look at the engagement. But when you involve an influencer who's going to now, infuse all the elements that you want, because now it has to do with storytelling.
Yeah.
So you're not telling a story, something that resonates with the target audience, And then you have the connection, and then it becomes a win-win situation for everybody.
Thank you very much. That's interesting. So you have to let the influencer be him or herself while they are still trying to infuse the brand's persona into their social media communication or wherever they are communicating.
Creatively flexible.
Yeah, being creatively flexible. I think that's a better way to put it.
And I think one thing some brand fails to do, right? They try to. We understand that every brand have their brand guideline, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they tend to like box most influencer. At the end of the day, they are not that creative as they are supposed to be.
Yeah.
However, there needs to be like a meeting point where brands come, they bring their brand personality, their brand tone of voice and the like, they bring it on board. And while the influencer also bring whatever style they have on board and their creativity.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like Mr. AY said, I believe there will be a success at the end of the day.
All right. So back to you, AY. How do you think brands can build trust with influencers? The first part we discussed was talking about how they can build a successful relationship. But we know that it does not necessarily equate trust. So how do you think brands can build trust with influencers?
Well, influencers, I'll say this. Now, this is something that I take this one personal, and it happens a lot with brands. Now, the brand comes to you as an influencer.
Yeah.
They want to tap from not just your expertise because they are the experts. They want to dive into your creative world, and they want to infuse their brand messages and what have you into whatever it is that you have going for you. And then when it's working, everybody is happy. The brand is happy. Now, influencers and celebrities out there, they are beginning to understand that the minute something goes wrong with that brand, that level of disassociation is the first thing that comes to mind on the side of the brand. Now, the same person that you are leveraging on, now there's a situation, you're not asking questions. You're not getting involved. You're not connecting with the same person that you have connected with to give you results. Now it's time to say goodbye. And I think that is going to be a major divide. Divide in the sense that it doesn't really work well for the brand. That's betrayal. For me, I'm not saying that everybody here is perfect, including the brand people, they are perfect. But sometimes it's good to get incisive, get to know the situation, put yourself in position to even defend the brand that represents you, especially when you get the facts right.
Yeah.
And then if it's the other way around, then you know it's time to let go. But brands are very quick to pull out, and I think that is betrayal, and it's not bringing anything about trust on our side. So tomorrow, I see a brand coming to me, and they are saying, "Oh, we want to get involved with you, want to do this," and I remember how they come in, how incisive it was, how swift they were, and then the next thing, I'm already thinking, this loyalty, is it going to? How am I going to build this trust with this person? Now, there's something that some brands do. I think it happens more with football. There were brands that are associated with the likes of JJ Okocha, Kanu, and the rest of them in their prime. And the loyalty and association is still there. Not like they are playing now.
Yeah.
They find a way to incorporate them into their present. So when influencers begin to see that relationship, they begin to have a basic understanding of a long-term partnership that's going to work. So brand must learn to look at the influencer, connect with them much more directly, and then the trust and loyalty service, it will just flow naturally.
This is really, really insightful. I'm sure a lot of brands do not look at it from this point of view, and maybe because of a PR issue, you know. So yeah. usually because of a PR issue.
Sorry. Quick question. So now, on the flip side,
Yeah.
from the influencer end, how do you maintain trust? Because I've seen this thing from, brands usually come to the agency and sometimes want to use influencers, and they'll be like, "Why do you want to use this influencer? Once this influencer is done with me, he's already knocking at the door of a competing brand." Do you understand? Like sometimes they don't even wait for them to finish, and sometimes, you don't have like a long-term contract. Maybe it's just one-off project. Like post this on your page so that your followers will see it, right? And on your page, tomorrow I'm seeing a competition. Next tomorrow I'm seeing another competition. So the question is, so how do we now maintain trust from brands to what's it called, to influencers, then from influencers to brand?
It's very simple. I mean, we're talking about trust, we're talking loyalty. We can also talk about binding contracts. I mean, if professionals won't go out of, the contract. I've had a very big brand come be part of AY Live. I do AY Live. I have this very big brand come. As a matter of fact, this brand made me an ambassador. Now, there's another brand coming in to say that we want to get the rights, for AY Live for 5 years. Now, this is Swift. Now, this person that I'm working with has it going for just 1 year because they just made me a brand ambassador. Now, on this other hand, what they have to offer, what they're putting on the table, was lofty. It's enough for me to just say, you know what, I can even refund your entire money. I want to deal with this brand and do the 5 years thing and whatever. Now, it took the owner of the communications company himself to see that, wow, my name was mentioned and this young man turned this offer. So it created the room for us to have one-on-one. And on the long run, they got me involved and they even increased because now there's trust. Now they know that this person, if we get involved with this person, so first things first, you must know the person you're dealing with because there are a lot of people out there, they are not professionals. Some people just run into fame by accident, so to speak, I'm sorry to say. And then they are unable to manage it. And on the part of brands too, the question of people moving from one place to another, it happens in every sector. Another agency will call you today and they will give you that lofty offer. And then you're already thinking of how to send in your resignation letter and what have you. I've seen people that I know with MTN today, tomorrow they are with Globalcom. Even in the banking sector, I've seen this one with GTB, tomorrow they are with Zenith. So it happens everywhere. But if you tie it properly with a binding contract, and more importantly, know the fact that you are working with a professional. It's not just having all the following, all the engagement. How do you engage your character with, so when you have this measure in place, and then we won't be having all these issues.
Thank you very much for that very insightful response. My last question goes to Joshua. I'd like to know, right, how do you measure success of an influencer, and what metrics and KPIs do you use to track success for an influencer?
I mean, the list is endless, right? But there are some key KPIs, with which you can measure influencer engagement. So the first is views, right? You engage an influencer because of the following that the influencer has, which you feel are key to your brand, right? In terms of the teaching. And it's not just about reaching them, but it's about reaching them, frequently. So reach and impressions are key, right? But other than reach or views, it's also about engagement. So you need to look at the engagement rate, because that shows the level of acceptance of the brand and how well the content of the influencer resonates with the TG. And when you talk about engagement, you're talking about likes, shares, or comments, right? And also, if done properly, all the influencers' activities for the brand should also drive leads for the brand, right? So conversion rate is also another important KPI. And there's always a business angle to every marketing activity.
Yeah.
So return on investment is key, because I'm not engaging you just for the paparazzi alone. It has to result in bottom line,
The numbers.
whether sales, uptake of the product or subscription to your service, right? And another important thing would be, if an influencer is very, very engaging and the content are fantastic, it should also drive traffic to the website of the brand or to their social media pages. So you need to see the audience growth rates, right? So these are some of the parameters that I think we can use to measure the success rate of an influencer engagement.
Okay, also to add to it, most brands want to sell. They don't have time to build top of mind awareness, right? However, to buttress his point, we must see how we can marry both together. Something happened of recent. An e-hailing company engaged an influencer, and I don't know if you guys saw it, where it was in a limo, or was it a Lambo, where when he wanted to get out, a car wanted to hit him, and at the end of the day, he called and like, uncle, nobody get him, or something like that. At the end of the day, when you go on social media, you see a whole lot of people talking about it. It even went religious. That's a funny thing, that religious pastors were talking about it, and they were getting insights from it. What am I trying to say? When creativity meets content, and the storytelling is perfect, at the end of the day, the first thing is that it builds top of mind awareness. And after building top of mind awareness, even though your target audience doesn't, even though they decide not to do, even though you don't convert at that point, but so far there is top of mind awareness, one day it will convert.
Yeah, and to add to that, from the brand perspective, for my own understanding, is that whatever engagement that you have, if it's not translating into that number, you are irrelevant. So you can do all because I've seen brands where they would tell some of our people that, okay, it's not about all the following, all the likes and everything, but it should translate into something. So, and that's where the creativity think tank comes in. So now the influencer has what it takes to call attention. So how do you use that attention to infuse your brand into it and get the numbers that you want? So that is also very, very important.
So a typical example of what you just said is, now you see brands leveraging on influencer by creating promo codes. At the end of the day, the promo codes leads to sales. It leads to conversion, right? So imagine Mr. Ayo influencing for a brand like Indomie.
Use my promo code.
Right? Or influencing for a brand like Golden Penny, right? At the end of the day, when he's done with his content, his storytelling, okay, to do this, use my promo code. At the end of the day, that is a proper call to action. Sometimes it doesn't lead to sales when there is no proper call to action. And people just watch it, they move, right? So, and apart from him, based on the example I gave about the e-hailing app, at the end of the day, the guy came and he said, use promo code so, and so. And at the end of the day, you see it converting into the so-called numbers that the brand is looking for.
All right, everyone, there you have it. It's been a very interesting conversation in the OMD Red Room. Thank you, distinguished gentlemen, for making it a date with us today. It is our pleasure. Please stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
Wale, come close.
Sorry, excuse me. Excuse me. Progress. Now you say me excuse me.
As you do
Progress. Oh yeah, progress. Progress. Oh yeah, progress. Join us, man.
You don't understand.
Progress. You don't want to.
No.
You don't want to be progressive.
No. Okay. Bros, you want to take?
I'm out.
This is small, so we have to do one at a time. Sorry, we're taking an official one behind the back.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I have a studio. Can I go with the mic?
We want to take an official picture. What did you want? What do you mean? Let's just make this picture. So you need to tell it to him, right? You need to tell it to him.
I need a content, so I want the shot.
I will show you packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till
Actually did well. And Mary Jane is taking pictures. So. Baby girl, shift back a bit.
Mom, how do you show more love to everyone? I will show you love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
I will show you.
Don't do that. Sweetheart, no matter what you do, we show you love. So you can show more love to everyone.
Mom, how do you show more love to everyone? I will show you love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
The National Advertising Conference 2024, the largest gathering of marketing, communications, and allied professionals in Africa, is just around the corner. And Media Reach OMD invites you to navigate the shift with us as we launch the Red Room, an immersive conversation-led platform designed to examine the creative world of advertising and marketing comms in 3 broad pillars: artificial intelligence, content and culture, and digital and technology. Tune in during the 3 days of the conference to listen to insightful discourse from some of the industry's brightest leaders across various sectors about the latest trends, challenges, and solutions. To join the conversation, simply visit www.mediareachomd.com/red-room or follow the link in our bio. Let's unpack the future of advertising in Nigeria together. The National Advertising Conference 2024, the largest gathering of marketing, communications, and allied professionals in Africa, is just around the corner. And Media Reach OMD invites you to navigate the shift with us as we launch the Red Room, an immersive conversation-led platform designed to examine the creative world of advertising and marketing comms in 3 broad pillars: artificial intelligence, content and culture, and digital and technology. Tune in during the 3 days of the conference to listen to insightful discourse from some of the industry's brightest leaders across various sectors about the latest trends, challenges, and solutions. To join the conversation, simply visit www.mediareachomd.com/red-room or follow the link in our bio. Let's unpack the future of advertising in Nigeria together.
How do you make a complete meal in minutes?
Try AdMe. Done.
How do you make a tasty meal tastier?
Try AdMe. Done.
AdMe, with its nutritional blend of vegetables, protein, and seasoning, gives your meal that final touch.
Done.
How do you make a complete meal in minutes?
Try AdMe. Done.
How do you make a tasty meal tastier?
Try AdMe. Done.
AdMe, with its nutritional blend of vegetables, protein, and seasoning, gives your meal that final touch.
Done.
How do you make a complete meal in minutes?
Try AdMe. Done.
How do you make a tasty meal tastier?
Try AdMe. Done.
AdMe, with its nutritional blend of vegetables, protein, and seasoning, gives your meal that final touch.
Done.
How do you make a complete meal in minutes?
Try AdMe.
Stamp production. You ready?
I was born
Which
ready.
camera are we looking at? I think 3 cameras. This one.
Good afternoon and welcome to the OMD Red Room, the first of its kind and a forum where thought-provoking, insightful and innovative conversations are held. My name is Ngozi Uwafili. I am a media strategist and I would be your host and moderator on today's session. With me are 2 distinguished gentlemen and it's my pleasure to have them in the OMD Red Room. With me is Deji Layede, who is the brand manager for Guinness, and Basi Anyefiok, who is the general manager, sales and sponsorship for Trace. I am really, really thrilled to have you guys here today. Welcome. So today we'll be talking about partnerships, talk event partnerships, content partnerships, brand partnerships, all sorts of partnerships. We just really want to understand how partnerships are crucial for brand building, how partnerships are crucial for consumer perception. So my first question would be to Deji. I'd like to know what makes a successful partnership in marketing?
Where do I start? I would say what makes a successful partnership in marketing is, I would say, shared goals.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you decide to establish a partnership, you guys have goals that are kind of interconnected, and it means who you're partnering with has something that is relevant to you, and you also have something in return, and obviously it has to be a mutually beneficial relationship. I would say most importantly is the goals have to be shared, and once you're able to have that common goal, then you can now start to look at it in terms of what kind of values do both of you have, both organizations or individual have, that you can use to achieve that goal. Again, it's built over time, basically. That's the way I see it.
As regards what kind of values, do you mean complementary values? So do we have to have same values?
Well, not. So what I mean by values is in terms of the organization and the individual.
Yeah.
Not in terms of, oh, you know what, I'm partnering with a media house, give me media.
Okay.
I mean in terms of the way you run your business, how you approach what you do, in terms of your company value itself.
Okay.
I think it still extends to if you say you want to go into a partnership with, I would say, an entertainment person, for instance. You guys have to still have shared values. You can't say you're going into a partnership with someone that does not share the same kind of ethics as you do, if you understand what I mean. Yeah.
All right, interesting. So talking about goals, how can brands identify the right partners for their goals?
I think I would try to use an example. Right?
All right.
If I use a football example, I don't know if I can go ahead and mention as many brands as I want to. So I, as an organization, I have football as a major brand pillar of mine, right? And we all understand that marketing budget is always limited. I think is what all of us in this space can always establish, right? It's never enough. It now depends on your choices, the choices that you make. Now, because I have football that is a big brand pillar for me, right? What it means for me is that I know my reach can be a bit limited. Now, is there a brand or is there an individual out there that has an audience I don't have an access to, that want to be able to access my audience? So, for example, I decide to go into a partnership with a telecommunications brand that also has football as a major brand pillar. The truth is, we're targeting an audience which is people that love football. Within the audience, there are people that love the telco, there are people that love my brand, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get people within that football space to appeal to the telco audience, and the telco is trying to get people within the football audience that my brand can appeal to. I mean, that's already a shared goal, so you guys can begin to share resources and then obviously definitely set KPIs, but the goal is you have a football audience that both of you are trying to reach. You have an audience, I have an audience. Let's come together and, sort of create a bigger experience or create something bigger for the consumer at the end of the day.
Thank you for that very interesting response. Did you mention shared goals, shared values? So I'd like to know what are some, my question goes to Basi now, what are some key factors here to consider when defining the roles and responsibilities in partnerships?
I think over the years it's been what should I say? I would say you need to consider quite a couple of things before you even want to go into partnership with anyone. Like from our own organization standpoint, I would say I still go with Deji in terms of having shared goals and vision because I feel like the goals needs to align the kind of people you want to do partnerships, with needs to, like for instance, I'll take a very good example of when you see Spotify and Netflix hub, you see that basically what they've done is for Spotify to say there are people that love to watch movies, right? And there are a lot of people that love soundtracks from those movies. Why don't you create a hub for them to be able to come to Spotify and then watch, those kind of movies? So basically, we're sharing. We have the same vision in the sense that the vision might be, the goals might be revenue based. It might be okay. At the end of the day, we get more revenue. It might be at the end of the day we get acquisition because at the end of the day you're getting movie lovers to be able to come to Spotify and also listen to their favorite soundtrack if it's from Bridgerton or from Game of Thrones or whatever. So for me, I feel shared goals and vision is one of the key things that you need to consider in partnership. And I think another thing too should be clarity, role clarity. Because at the end of the day, you don't want too much overlapping in terms of what am I supposed to do, what are you supposed to do. There's ambiguity. You understand? At the end of the day, what am I bringing to the table, all this kind of stuff. So I think from the word go, there needs to be that, role clarity that these are the things that, I'm supposed to do. These are the things that you are also supposed to do. For me, role clarity is one, so that you don't end up spending money in multiple places when we can just, do specialization. You handle this, and you handle that. And I think for anything to make partnership work is resource contribution. I feel like I need to be able to say, these are the things I am bringing to the table. I'll take a very good example. I'll say maybe something we did with the African Union some time ago. It was like it was during COVID, so they wanted to create a lot of awareness for COVID. Oh, wash your hands, do this and do that. And I think in one of our discussion, we discovered that we had something to also bring to the table, which was, reach. We had the platform. We had the platform in different languages. You understand? So if they want to talk to someone in South Africa, we had Trace Urban there that could speak their language. You want to talk to somebody in East Africa, there's Trace and Ziki speaking Swahili and all of that. And then Toka also, we had Portuguese speaking, African, whatever. So they brought a little bit of administrative cost. We brought what we had, which was the TV channel, you understand, the digital platform, and also the creativity in terms of building 3D animations and doing like that. Because sometimes you need to be sure that for you to be able to achieve some partnerships, you need funding, which is very key. DJ would. Funding is very key. I think you just need to tick all the boxes in terms of how you guys want to achieve your objective, how you want to achieve your goal. Do you need money? Do you need partners in terms of maybe somebody owns a place, you can come to your events, and then you pay maybe just for generator, for diesel, for that, all of those other pillars that will make everything work. So for me, I think that's it. Those are the three key things. First thing is for you to be able to have shared goals with who you are working with. Second one is for role clarity. And then the third one for me would be definitely resource contribution, because you have to bring what you have to the table. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Basi.
Yeah.
In recent times, we've seen a lot of brands, engage in different types of partnerships. And it just goes to say that there's something in partnership that maybe we're not really, really talking about. So, Deji, I'd really like to know, how can partnership help amplify brand's message across diverse platforms?
Okay. There's something that we have all said that has come through multiple times, right? Shared goals. Yeah. And we spoke about shared goals, values, and resource. And I think I mentioned something earlier that marketing budget is something that is always limited.
Definitely.
Right? I mean, we can talk about limitations of resource from now till forever. Now, and we are in a space and we're in a new world where if you had the same exact marketing budget as you had 2 years ago, you're probably not getting value of more than 50% of what you got a couple of years ago. Now, I would say from a resource standpoint, right? If you're able to come together, and I would use a typical example, as I mentioned earlier. I have a strategic partnership with football with MTN, right? What it does for me is, at the end of the day, the consumer is the winner. But I try to create experiences for people that love football. But with the experience I'm trying to create for people that love football, how much can I reach? How far can I go by myself? And then, there's what they always say: if you want to go further, work with people. If you want to go faster, maybe walk alone. But there's a limit to how far you can get to. So, typical example with me and MTN, for instance, is they want to also create an experience for their audience to come and enjoy and experience football. How about we collaborate, right? I mean, you bring a couple of resources, I bring a couple of resources, we merge it together, we're able to elevate the experience to be bigger than what I would have done by myself at the end of the day, or what MTN would have been able to do by themselves at the end of the day. But the most important thing is they can go ahead and start to communicate from their own point of view. I communicate from my own point of view. What I've been able to achieve is there's a huge audience that MTN has that, the football message and part of my message has been able to reach. And then there's a part of my messaging that I'm pushing out to Guinness audience that carries a bit of MTN in there. What it means is that if we combine all of our resources together, we've been able to reach an audience that is times 2, times 3 of what I would have reached at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I'm saving myself a bit of money, but I'm still able to reach a larger audience. And even more. So at the end of the day, I still believe there would be more and more brand collaborations from a strategic partnership standpoint. We will be able to, and we'll continue to see a lot more of that. If there's any brand that is thinking well and thinking right, you cannot do it by yourself. But all you just have to do is, obviously, the shared values, the shared goals, values, is just to look for, some other people that are trying to do the same thing that you're doing that are not in competition with you. And then collaborate together and then see how you can still give the your consumers that experience that.
Just to even add, I think for me, from a practical angle, is for instance, I work at TV channel, so we do TV. We do digital a little bit, but you also need partners in terms of you want to create massive awareness if you're working on a particular campaign. So we need partners in terms of billboards. So basically what we've tried to do is to partner with a billboard company. You want something from TV, we want something on billboard, you also give us your space, and then we're able to collaborate. So I think for me, it works well. Alpha and Jam has been our partners for like maybe 2-3 years now, and everything that we're doing, we just kind of like promote it also on billboards, and I think it's amazing. Those are the kind of collaborations that would exist going forward.
It doesn't doesn't necessarily only mean from a brand to brand standpoint, right? You go in, you get into a relationship with, for example, as you get an ambassador, you get somebody that is an influencer as an ambassador. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a fee that needs to be paid, but if you have an ambassador, you've picked the ambassador that probably has an affinity for the brand even before you start to engage with the brand. There's how far your payment can go as against somebody that has an existing affinity for your brand. And at the end of the day, if you're able to create a very close-knit relationship that is not just transactional based with a partner. The partner carries you along every day, even when you're not looking. And then, exactly. And you're also able to help the partner beyond what you're doing to support their goals in life, basically. That's why you see some people who have, some brand partners that have been brand partners for them for years. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and you're wondering what exactly is it?
Yeah.
So it's Yeah.
All right, listeners, there you have it. Partnership is a new way to save costs. It has always been, but due to the terrain we find ourselves in currently, it's something we should be looking forward to seeing a lot of brands do. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Do not stop watching. We'll be right back shortly. We'll be coming back with some new, more distinguished guests, and they will be educating us more about partnerships. Thank you.
I will show you. Junior, don't do that. matter what you do, we show you love. So you can show more love to everyone.
Mom, how do you show more love to everyone? I will show you love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
The National Advertising Conference 2024, the largest gathering of marketing, communications, and allied professionals in Africa, is just around the corner. And Media Reach OMD invites you to navigate the shift with us as we launch the Red Room, an immersive conversation-led platform designed to examine the creative world of advertising and marketing comms in 3 broad pillars: artificial intelligence, content and culture, and digital and technology. Tune in during the 3 days of the conference to listen to insightful discourse from some of the industry's brightest leaders across various sectors about the latest trends, challenges, and solutions. To join the conversation, simply visit www.mediareachomd.com/red-room or follow the link in our bio. Let's unpack the future of advertising in Nigeria together.
How do you make a complete meal in minutes?
Try AdMe. Done.
How do you make a tasty meal tastier?
Try AdMe.
Done. Add Me, with its nutritional blend of vegetables, protein, and seasoning, gives your meal that final touch.
How do you make a complete meal in minutes?
Try AdMe. Done.
How do you make a tasty meal tastier?
Try AdMe. Done.
Add Me, with its nutritional blend of vegetables, protein, and seasoning, gives your meal that final touch.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the Red Room, first of its kind, a forum where innovative, insightful, thought-provoking, and perception-shaping conversations are held. And I remain your guest and moderator, Ngozi, media planner and strategist at OMD. With me here today, I have a very distinguished gentleman and a very distinguished lady in the house. The lady by my side is none other but Anne Obaseki, who is the MD CEO Lounge FM. And with me is Yinka Adebayo, who is the Executive Director Investment in Media Reach OMD, West and Central Africa. Thank you very much for making it a date with us in the Red Room today.
Thank you.
Today we'll be discussing partnerships, event partnerships, content partnerships, influencer partnerships, everything partnerships, and understanding how important partnerships can be for brands and for consumers. So my first question would go to Yinka Adebayo. So I would like to know, what are strategic partnerships and why exactly are they important in marketing?
Well, I think strategic partnership is a strategy that enables you to see the end from the beginning.
Okay.
And for me, I always tell people, you see, you don't start digging well when you are tasty. The bridge you are going to walk across, you don't build it when you are ready for the trip. You build it much earlier, meaning that those strategic partnerships, you need to see it ahead. What exactly is the value on the table? How do you position it? How do I put it across and all of that? And once you identify them, it's now very easy to map out your strategy to how to reach out to them. And by doing that, you are being proactive, you are being intentional, you are being purposeful about your moves, which is very necessary. So strategic partnerships are things that enables you to say, hey, this is where I'm headed. Like somebody, like there's a saying that says, if you don't know where you are going, anywhere you reach is home.
Yeah.
So if my purpose is to go to Abuja and I'm in Kaduna, I've not gotten there. So I know until I get to. So people need to be deliberate, be intentional, and be purposeful about the move. So that's where the strategic partnership comes in. But it's always better when you are the one saying it rather than it saying you, because you know what the value proposition is, you know what you're asking for, and you deliberately go all out and claim it.
If you do not know where you are going, anywhere you find yourself would be home. I would definitely not forget that in a bit. So, sir, I would like to know, why are strategic partnerships important in marketing?
Yeah, very important in marketing, because you see, in marketing, you see many of our buying decisions in marketing are informed more by emotional consideration rather than rational.
Yeah.
So meaning that you need to look at those who can bring value to the table to enhance your brand equity.
True.
And like I said earlier, the earlier you identify them and pick them, analyze them, make sure that they are headed in the right direction, then you're able to pick them. And that's why you need to, those are the kind of importance that you say, hey, these are my marketing objectives, who can actually help in driving that objective and making sure that the object value is not just delivered, but it's clearly seen to have been delivered. And that's why it's important for you, like I said earlier, to be intentional, to be purposeful. Yeah. And for all you can, you bear in mind that you're working for brands, and different purposes, different requirements at every point in time. So you need to constantly be on the alert. I call it a situation where you are seen to be very agile. Like I always tell people, a docile person cannot manage an active brand. You must equally be on the ball. You must be always on the ball. And once you're on the ball, it becomes very easy for you to say, hey, who are those who can help me deliver the value? What are the important things I'm looking for? Who are those? Or what sector? Who are the key players in that sector? You can reach out to them. And it's all about value. The only people don't run away from is value. When value is on the table, the blind will see and the deaf will hear.
Hallelujah. When value is on the table, the blind will see and the deaf will hear. From this, I just got the fact that strategic partnership is goal-driven and is about you basically looking for where I can get value and take charge in that regard. All right. Anne Obaseki, I would like to know, how important is it to align values and goals with partnerships?
Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Deba, for dropping the insight. So how important is it to align values and goals to partnerships? The truth about it is we live in a world where authenticity and trust is the currency, right? And so if you're having a partnership, first of all, there's no reason why not to have a partnership, because if you're building a house and someone has built a foundation, it's almost foolhardy to go and start digging again when you might as well just raise it up. So, but in terms of aligning value and goals, there's authenticity and trust is one of the first things that you get, because if you have a partnership that has an authentic nature to it, what you have is the goals that you're trying to reach, the people that you're trying to reach are able to accept this better. It sits in easier. It's not a forced partnership. I'll give a quick example, for instance, with Rihanna and LVMH, right? So Rihanna has always been that brand that is inclusive. She's a versatile brand. She's out there. She's doing music. She's great, popular, and women of all ages can see her as the girl next door. So when you bring in an LV and partner with a Rihanna, what you instantly get is the fact that LV is opened up to younger people. It's inclusive, it's a huge partnership thing. So first of all, it's important to align your goals because it gives you authenticity, it gives you trust. Secondly, you have unified marketing impact. The marketing impact is stronger on both sides. So it becomes marketing gold when the marketing impact is strong for both parties. You also have customer loyalty because the customers who are involved in this are loyal to both brands because it's deepened. And most importantly for me would be that it's a smoother collaboration process. Because if things are not forced, if things get forced, then the process of partnership is hard to do. But when it's smoother, the collaboration is seamless. So yeah, absolutely.
And let me add to that. You see, you have audience out there. The audience out there are very discerning. They are very different. If it's not authentic, if it's not, they can deduce it. They will immediately. And once there's that disconnect, the question they're asking, what are you doing there?
Absolutely.
The question is like, what's this partnership? But if it's aligned, be rest assured, the audience will take ownership of it and even take it to the next level that both of you who came together can never imagine. So it's always good to make sure that you do your research very well, get the facts, make sure that the goals are aligned, and before you know it, you are only headed in one direction, and that is all.
Thank you very much. There you have it, viewers. We have to go into partnerships to drive authenticity, to get through to audiences that ordinarily we can't as a brand. They say if you want to go far, go with people. If you want to go fast, go alone. So thank you very much for staying tuned with us today in the Red Room. Till we meet again, I remain your host, Ngozi Uwafili. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you. It was too quick. Wow. It was a continuation of the conversation now.
Yeah. Annie B.
It's 20 minutes. But it's just 2 questions. And these people don't talk much. Please come and unmic me.